Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bang on Sales Show. I feel like I say this every episode, but I'm very excited about today's guest. So, as I always do, I'm going to read a little bit from his LinkedIn bio and then I'll hand over to him to tell us a bit more about himself. So, he says, everything started with deciding to post on LinkedIn. Social selling was and still is a hot topic. He says, I was scared to be mocked by people. At the end of the day, I'm a simple guy from Istanbul. That's guessed, not me, of course. With all these thoughts, I started doing it. I was entering the SaaS sales world and wanted to make an impact on it. I want to have the power of helping people, and he has done this. So check out his profile. You'll see the people that he's helped book meetings, introduce to potential buyers, job opportunities, and things like that. So that's exactly what he did. We talk about building relationships. It's a throwaway term, but that's exactly what my guest did. And he's done it so well. And as a result of that, we've actually become co-founders together of a business called Sales Fellowship. So my guest today is Ahmet Albayrak. Am I
Yeah,
pronouncing your name correctly?
yeah, correct.
Brilliant.
You
How
have
you
to,
doing,
you
Ahmet?
have a co-founder, so you have to be
You
able
doing,
to
man?
do that by
Yeah,
now.
cool, man. But yeah, I mean, look, from in your own words, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a simple guy. Actually, it's like what I am is this, I always hated, in my culture, actually, it's like telling about yourself is not a thing. It's like, hey, it's like I'm this, I'm that, I know I can speak German, I can speak English, it's like when you speak Turkish, so as your mother tongue, it's like it just seems as, it's like you're just bragging, it's not like looking good for your, it's like image
You
out
totally
there.
just did a humble brag there, though, because you just dropped in that you speak three languages.
Yeah, So, it's like my thing. Actually, I was getting into the European culture too, because I realized when I started to look for a job in tech industry, for SDR, for becoming an SDR, because I was in sales for many years. I sold different stuff like medical renewables, and disposables. And then after that, if you know German, you have to sell machines as well, machine spare parts. So I did it, of course. Then I always had a passion for tech because I was into that stuff, coding, building websites, building products. So then I realized, hey, I didn't have to learn coding. I learned coding, by the way. I'm a kind of a self-taught front-end web developer. With the current technologies, I can build a website. But I said, I'm better on the sales side because I love, talking to people, getting to know them. It's like it was amazing thing for me. I'm also a careless guy, so I don't stress in sales. So this was a thing for me. So it started with, it's like my LinkedIn journey and my job search started in between. And I'm just kind of, it's like landing a job by Cloud Talk. Then, things got evolved into something like for sales fellowship. I met you and all the other guys. So it was basically that. So
Amazing. So we've spoken a lot about, well, actually, I'll reframe it. So through your career, through your journey, I'm guessing, like most of us, you've made some mistakes along the way. Where do you see sellers going wrong right now? Because there's clearly, I think, a lot of salespeople, SDRs, whatever you want to call them, are missing a trick when it comes to LinkedIn, when it comes to outreach generally. Could you talk a bit about that?
yeah, when I first entered, it's like I'm coming from a traditional sales industry. So the most important thing in that is just building relationships, building trust out there.
Mm.
And actually, this when I, it's like start reading posts, following influencers on LinkedIn, sales influencers for tech influencers. And what I saw, it's like everyone is, there's a small circle, every company has, you know, everyone follows the same path. You know, it's like, hey, you buy some tech stuff, you know, put to your sales stack, and, you know, do your outreach in mass. You know, it's like sending every product claims that they do so good personalization to their outreach, and same stuff goes and goes and goes, and it creates actually an inefficiency in every process. So every stakeholder has a problem with it. You know, it's like CEOs, the decision makers, get so many calls, so many emails, everything is so spammy. And, you know, it's like, and these decision makers, the sales leaders, push their teams to do more. And, you know, it's becoming like a cycle, you know, what I see from outside by talking to people. And right now, you know, it's like it's at its highest peak, actually. You know, it's like everyone is writing emails, everything, one is writing so generalized, so not well tailored messages, outreach messages, and it hurts everything, actually. You know, you hurt your fellows as well, other sales reps outreach as well. When someone did a good outreach, you know, with their research, but, you know, because everyone talks, everyone shouts something on in a sales table, you know, you don't get to hear by the right people, because, you know, it's like everything is a mess right now. So that's why, you know, the sales fellowship came up with that.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you know, you talked about scaling automation or doing like mass outreach. It's not like we're scaling good outreach. You know, if that was the case, if we could do it in an intelligent way that still had some relevance, some element of personalization and so on, and had value inherent in it, then fair enough, fine. But when it's, you know, hi Ahmet, or hi first name, I hope you're well. I hope you're keeping well in these difficult times. And then just like a bullet point of like, here's the features, here's what we do. You know, a litany of products and features. It's just crap, right? So yeah.
You know, think about it. You know, it's like when you just, you know, mention about your product, you know, no one cares. You know, it's like, hey, we are this and we have a G2 review of this. You know, it's like, dude, you know, which problems are you solving? You know, it's like, I have some problems, and you claim to be the product, the only product that can solve these problems. And what are these? You know, it's like, that's the main point. You know, not how I care about your product or your, you know, you having a latest investment or something.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's like, how well can you, as in, this is what you need to think about. How well can you demonstrate some level of subject matter expertise, thought leadership, or just at least some understanding of their world, the problems they face, their goals, their aspirations, and things like that. And you only get that stuff by approaching it with curiosity. So don't ABC always be closing, ABC always be curious, right? And it may be the case that, you know, if you are a startup or you are a solopreneur or whatever, or a new rep in a business, ask questions. You know, you may have to ask colleagues, you may have to ask clients or prospects, and do a certain amount of research ahead of time, rather than just running on the blind assumptions. So anyway, don't get me started about that. So so this segues nicely into sales fellowship, doesn't it? So could you talk a bit about, I suppose, firstly, you know, what is sales fellowship at a high level, and how do you feel it solves some of this or can help provide a you know, the new way of B2B sales?
Actually, sales fellowship started by, you know, it's like there was just you know, I started networking with people, but, you know, I curiously picked up people that I want to network with. So it was, you know, potential clients, prospect companies. So I picked up SDRs, account executives from those companies. So, you know, just started talking with them. You know, it's like, hey, just exchanging experiences, you know, it's like arranging meeting, just like, you know, that I all did with all 106, 107 people. And what I saw is actually, you know, also for them is, you know, as SDRs, we need information. We don't need any assumptions. We need real information from inside. And we through this information, we identify the relevant points for us, the pain points they have. We can qualify just by talking with, it's like the entry level that, it's like account executives, SDR, sales reps, in my case, it's like also in different cases, like marketing specialists or finance specialists. And you can identify all these points. And when there is a use case, you can just say, hey, dude, it's like, actually, we can solve these issues because they are experiencing these issues, these entry level, your potential users. And you can just say, hey, it's like, who should I talk with, to solve this issue? Who is the right decision maker for that? And they are, so far, every people that I talk with, except one, I'm gonna be honest, they help me to get to the right decision maker. I just created my champions in every company. And it was such an efficient process for me because I hate doing things robotized. I'm not a telemarketer. I'm a business development, sales development representative, right? It's like, at least my title is, it's like, we should do it according to that. If you mean, hey, you want to develop a business, it comes with, it's like talking with people, building relationships. And through these people, actually, in my first month, I hit my quota by 100, as far as I can remember, right, 140% or something. And in the second month, and it was August actually, 220%. It was so easy for me because I just arrange meetings, get to know people. I made so many, I had no secret agenda when I talking to people. I just came to them with my heart. And actually, I built relationship with those guys. And in time, my sales process become not like, hey, I talk with you, arrange the meeting, bye-bye. No, we kept the relationship. And in time, they refer you to other people. You refer them to other people. And it become like a working machine, actually. So when I talk to people, I had something to help them. I know so many people. Hey, you need this, and people are coming to me just asking, hey, Ahmed, actually, we are looking for, I don't know, sales intelligence tool. Which I immediately become a consultant in that area because I met with all the SDRs from all these regions, different regions, from India, Australia, Philippines to Pakistan, Turkey. It's like, and the DACH region, the German-speaking regions, UK, you can name it, any country. And I learned, it's like, hey, by talking with them, hey, which tools are you using? Are you satisfied with it? I make a general qualification so I can understand their pain points for other products as well. So I can just easily say, hey, for this region, for EMEA region, so which intelligence tool is right for me? Yeah, you can use this one. These are really good. They are now improving their data for this region and all that stuff, etc. So it happened. So in time, by talking with so many people, so I just created a website for it. It's like they created a community that helps each other to reach out to book more meetings, learn from each other, grow from each other. Also, I want them to create their own personal brands, and it will be good also for their own career to network with other people, just like I did.
Yeah, you've sort of weaponized or commercialized your network, haven't you? But you've done it in a very short period of time. It's amazing. You said like August, in a span of half a year, basically, right? You've gone from a standstill to where we are now. So, and that's great. I see sales fellowship long term being, I mean, it's a peer network, isn't it? But I like it that it connects buyers, sellers, job seekers with employers, and so on.
Yes, it's like we will create such a network that is like an umbrella corporation for everyone. It's like, hey, you're a job seeker, you're a hiring manager, you're I don't know, HR, recruiter. You want to get access to new sales talent. Hey, we got you covered. It's like, hey, you need new leads. We got you covered. You know, it's like you want to network, you want to learn actually how to build your own personal brand. We got you covered, actually. You know, we also started with you, actually, for the new, because in time, companies started to come to me, you know, how should we do social selling? You know, so how should we do structure our sales team? And I just said, hey, there is a need for that. You know, it's like, hey, because we could create something different here. Because all the companies out there, I'm not, you know, blaming anyone, but, you know, it's like what I see is what you can feel is they want to make their clients dependent on them. You know, it's like they shouldn't be independent. You know, it's like, hey, I want to have you client as long as possible. You know, it's like, you know, this is the things that I actually don't like. That's why, you know, I shared my knowledge to everyone, you know, especially for, you know, SDRs, you know, basically we just brainstorm together with so many people, you know, from Henry, for example, from Datadog. It was his first tech job, SDR job. We talk about together, you know, for hours, for 2-3 sessions, you know, how should we approach to IT managers, you know, it's like, or with, you know, it's like they're Tom, for example, one of my founding members, you know, it's like we talk about, hey, we should actually, we can use this, we can use that, you know, it's like when you approach to this, you know, according to different personas, you know, these types of topics that we actually, no one helps them. Everyone is actually about, you know, basic people's SDR's money. We are not. So just helping them is a nice thing, you know. All
yeah, for sure. But you know, and the community aspect of whether it's sales fellowship, whether it's other you know, sales communities, peer communities, the point of it is, as you say, is not a kind of a parasitic relationship, if that makes sense. The whole point is just to provide a platform and an ecosystem for you know, for those relationships to flourish, for learning to take place, you know, opportunities to arise and so on. So yeah, no, I get it. The thing you said about making customers reliant on businesses, on their vendors or whatever, I think is really interesting, because there's different ways to approach it, right? Or different mindsets. One is like, right, well, we want to make sure they don't outgrow us, in whatever capacity that is. But there's another way, which is like, well, let's lay out a roadmap of how we can essentially grow together, and that relationship can develop and our involvement with each other can deepen. But even if it doesn't, at least you've got that kind of journey mapped out and you know what that looks like, so that you can become self-sufficient. So I guess in the case of sales fellowship, it's about you know, how do we help a business go from having no internal sales function or minimal, through to bringing it in-house, getting those people trained up, onboarded, ramped up in an effective way that isn't just guessing, right? Using best practices and so on. And then eventually we kind of back out of that, and then the business knows what to do going forward. I feel like, I don't know if there's a question in there. I just wondered if you had any further thoughts on that.
Yeah, the thing is, you know, it's like doing a real business, you know, sales fellowship is based on relationship building. Actually, I want to enhance it in every way, actually, every business. If we do business with a SME, you know, it's like, hey, I don't just want you to, you know, it's like, hey, you paid me this much, so I just give you this much. You know, it's like, hey, you have this potential, and I want to reach you out your max potential in the most efficient time frame. So, you know, because efficiency, you know, I'm an efficiency addict, actually. You know, it's like I do things, for example, for eating. You know, eating for hours, it's for me, you know, inefficient thing to do. You know, it's like that's why, you know, I eat fast. Actually, it could be it's not that healthy, but you know, it's like for me, the time, I value time, so I value also other people's time. Also, it's
drink smoothies is faster. Just blend it.
Yeah, I have my own recipes for smoothie, for example. You know, it's like just getting all the protein, you know, all the stuff that I need, carbohydrates and all that stuff. You know, just creating smoothies for myself as well. So it's the same thing for businesses, but not like, it's like we want to grow. We see all the layoffs recently. It's like the companies, hey, we are a unicorn. You are not a unicorn. It was a fake title you claim. You laid off so many people. You are not. Your value is not more than 1 billion anymore, for example. It's like, hey, let's be real. Let's be realistic, and see what we are now. Accepting the reality. After that, you can, when you don't accept the real truth of your business, you can grow further. So what we do is just, do everything on a realistic basis.
Yep. Yeah. Love it. Yeah, you can't move forward effectively or efficiently if you aren't true to yourself or honest about where you currently stand.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be quite humbling, when, so obviously we've been talking about, we provide sales audits for businesses, and you may well find, well, you don't have answers to half of the questions because you haven't thought about it. You haven't thought about the metrics. How do you measure success? Do you have a proper sales process? How well do you understand your ideal customer profile, your target market, and things like that? And that's fine, but you have to be honest about it and be able to move forward from that. Yeah. So for fear of this turning into an infomercial for Sales Fellowship, is there anything else that you could tell us about, in terms of your experiences with social selling, anything like, common mistakes that people should avoid, what to do instead? I'm kind of putting you on the spot there, but what do you think?
Yeah. It's like when I started social selling, actually, I learned everything from you, and actually the other woman who helped me is the Mattia, from founder of the STS of Germany. I learned both of you guys. I learned a lot of things. But what I realized, actually, what I did efficiently in that process is, it's like normally it takes 5 to 6 months to get, it's like consistent likes, comments to your posts, and it's like you get engagement, and people are coming to you to ask for your product, and or seeking for help for any of their needs.
Yeah.
But what I've discovered actually, it's not enough to, just liking people's posts or commenting on them. It's not enough. Okay, you can meet with all of them, but you can meet with most of them. So really,
be strategic about it.
Yeah. And you can just pick people, hey, it's like they seem interesting. You can just look at the profiles. For example, I met with Stefan he's an IT manager from Volkswagen. When I looked at his profile, I saw that, it was really interesting. He was started as a factory worker in Volkswagen, but then he switched to IT. It's like, hey, it's an interesting thing. I want to learn more about it.
Right.
So I just go to the guy, I said, hey, Stefan, I want to meet you. And then we became friends, for example. We talk about different stuff, where should I go when I am in Dresden in Germany, for example, different kinds of stuff. So also, there are so many interesting people out there, and you can also learn from them. It's actually, we are not living in 80s, 70s. It's not like experience is not measured by your own experience. You can just learn easily from other people. For example, Stefan Biester, it's like when I talk with him, it's like he got 30 years of experience, almost 30 years of experience. Dude, it's like I'm 27 years old. Okay, it's like, but just with talking with him, about sales stuff, about my approach and sales fellowship, it gives me confidence as well. When I first explained my idea about sales fellowship, it was, it's like he said, it's actually my approach. It's not something new, actually. It's in 90s and 80s, sure. People, salespeople are building relationship with their clients. And when they do, sign contracts or renewal contracts, they don't even look at the contract. It's like, hey, Mark, let's sign the renewal. It's like, hey, we need to raise the prices for 5%. It's like, let's grab a beer and talk about different stuff. It's like, this was the sales. It's like, it's human sales needs to be more humanized again.
Humanized. Yeah, for sure.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it.
Brilliant.
So that's why, it's like when you start doing social selling, start posting it, it's like on LinkedIn. You said every day I want to post every day on LinkedIn. Instead of, it's like trying to focus on what you post, just start messaging people. Not like, it's like do something different, not like, write a plain message like, I want to meet you. I sent videos to almost half of my connections.
Yeah.
Okay. Just with my mobile phone. I didn't use any additional tool because, it leads to you to external link. Some people may see it as spam. That's why I used my mobile phone, take my mobile phone and, recorded videos for everyone. Hey, it's like, Mark, I want to get to know you. It's like your profile seems interesting and all that stuff. Then you have, in time, actually you have so many things to post about. You will not have to worry if you network with people. You don't have to worry, it's like what to post next. It's like because you have so many things. It's like I know, for example, I have a friend, Matthew Shawans. It's like my friend from Canada. It's like it's actually originally from Jamaica. Maybe it's like we will meet in Jamaica as well. His dad is there, for example. It's like these stories is actually gives you stuff to post, actually, information.
That's true. It's very true.
Nobody can attain,
Yeah. Yeah, but it comes from doing the work, doesn't it? And as you say, building the relationships, doing the volume of activity, but in a strategic way. Yeah, working hard, working smart, all of that good stuff. So
always work smart. It's like work smart, work efficient. Doing one thing so much it doesn't bring you more. Doesn't bring you more. Actually, it's like being smart work brings you more. Actually, you can work efficient with three salespeople more than if you have 20 salespeople actually out there.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think that some of the bad behaviors that we've spoken about here are driven by the way that salespeople are incentivized and also just pushed by management. Because you come in and usually it's like, yeah, okay, we'll go easy on you for the first few weeks. You're onboarding or whatever it is, but then it's like, right, but I need to be building pipeline here. I need to think about my target. Whereas I actually think that for a lot of businesses, it depends on the length of the sales cycle, the complexity of it, and so on. But for a lot of businesses, I think that if they bring in a salesperson, they should just no target for the first quarter. You need to focus on understanding your buyers, building those relationships, building that advocacy network, right? And sales fellowshipping is exactly what you're talking about. But it's hard to do that when you've got your manager breathing down your neck, because you've got a target. Even if it's a small target, it still drives certain behaviors. Of course, companies that would do away with that target temporarily, but not then proactively drive the right behaviors, you'd often find that I think that people would just kind of float around and just scroll through their feed on LinkedIn and not really do anything productive. So I think that there's a balance to be had there, and companies need to actually put in place a proper framework for making that happen. So I could go on about that, but I won't. So listen, Ahmed, really good chat. Thank you for this. I think I know what you're going to say to this last question, but where can people find you?
You can find me in Istanbul. I live in Kadıköy. You can just fly in and you can find me on LinkedIn. You can just visit our website, salesfellowship.com. And we will put you can reach me out through Mark. Actually, you can just where is Ahmet? You can ask him and he will just show you the right direction here. And
awesome. Okay, brilliant. Listen, thanks again, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Cheers, man. Take care. Bye-bye.